Hi everyone, today I want to tell you a story. It's called Animal Farm by George Orwell. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Talking pigs, a wise old boar, a farm full of animals. It's not a fairy tale, it's one of the sharpest warnings ever written about power. And by the end of this video, I think you'll see exactly why people are still talking about this book, 80 years later. So let's get into it. The setup. Manor Farm, run by a man named Mr. Jones. And Jones is not a good farmer. He forgets to feed the animals. He treats them like tools instead of living things. Basic cruelty, day after day, the kind of thing that just keeps happening because nobody ever stops it. Then one night, an old wise pig named Old Major gathers everyone together. All the animals, horses, cows, chickens, sheep, everyone. And he shares a dream with them. A farm where every animal is equal, where nobody gets mistreated, where nobody works themselves to death while somebody else eats all the food. He tells them simply that humans are the problem. Humans take and take and take and give almost nothing back. Remove the humans, and the animals finally get to enjoy what they produce. The animals are moved, inspired actually. This old pig has just said out loud the thing they'd all been feeling for years, but never had the words for. Old Major dies not long after. But the dream doesn't die with him. The rebellion. It doesn't take long for things to boil over. One day, Mr. Jones forgets to feed the animals again, and something just snaps. The animals rise up together, and they chase Mr. Jones off the farm for good. No real plan, no long build-up. It just happens. They rename the farm Animal Farm, and they write down 7 rules, 7 commandments, and paint them on the barn wall so nobody ever forgets them. The most important one, the one that matters more than all the others put together, is this. All animals are equal. And at first, it's everything they hoped for. The harvest is bigger than ever. Nobody's stealing food. Nobody's getting whipped for working too slow. It's not a perfect life, but it's a fair one, and fair feels amazing after years of having nothing. The pigs, being the smartest animals around, naturally step into leadership. 2 of them stand out. Snowball and Napoleon. Both clever, both ambitious, both full of ideas to make the farm run better. Sounds great so far, doesn't it? The first cracks. Here's the thing, though. Almost right away, small things start to change. The pigs decide they need the milk, then the apples, not because they've earned it more than anyone else, but because they explain it's necessary for their brains, for their leadership, for keeping the farm safe from Mr. Jones coming back. And you know what? Nobody really argues. It sounds reasonable enough. It sounds temporary. That's usually how it starts. Not with someone grabbing everything at once. With one small exception that seems fine at the time, where it turns. This is where the story stops being a fairy tale. Snowball has a big idea. Build a windmill and it'll make life easier for everyone on the farm. He's smart, he's a good speaker, and the animals like the plan. But Napoleon doesn't like it. Not because it's a bad idea, because Snowball getting credit for it means Napoleon isn't fully in charge. So during the big vote on the windmill, right as Snowball is winning everyone over, Napoleon does something nobody expects. He lets out a strange whistle, and suddenly 9 huge, ferocious dogs come charging out of nowhere. Dogs that Napoleon had been secretly raising this whole time, while everyone thought he was just being a good mentor to some puppies. The dogs chase Snowball off the farm. He barely escapes with his life, and he's never allowed back. No vote, no debate, just teeth and fear. And just like that, Napoleon is in complete control. The Purge. And here's where the story gets genuinely dark, not just unfair. Not long after Snowball is gone, Napoleon calls all the animals together again. But this time, it's not a celebration. One by one, he accuses certain animals of secretly working with Snowball all along, of being traitors hiding in plain sight. Under pressure, terrified, some of them confess to things they clearly never did. Made up crimes, impossible crimes. And then, right there in front of everyone, Napoleon's dogs execute them. No trial, No real evidence, just fear, and a lesson everyone on that farm learns instantly. Disagree with Napoleon even quietly, even by accident, and this could be you next. That's the moment the farm stops being simply unequal and starts being genuinely terrifying. Because it's not really about Snowball being gone anymore. It's about making sure nobody else even considers questioning who's in charge. Silence stops being a choice and becomes the only safe option. The slow slide. From here, things start to slide. Slowly at first, then faster. Napoleon announces the windmill will be built after all, and somehow it becomes his idea now. Whenever anything goes wrong on the farm, whenever the windmill collapses in a storm or food runs low, Napoleon blames Snowball. Snowball, who isn't even there anymore. He becomes the excuse for everything. Then there's Squealer, Napoleon's talker. His entire job is making bad news sound like good news. Every time the pigs break one of the original rules, the rule mysteriously changes overnight. No animal shall sleep in a bed quietly becomes, no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. The animals sort of remember it differently, but they can't read very well, and Squealer is very convincing, and honestly, they're just tired. And after the purge, nobody's exactly rushing to argue with him either. Bit by bit, the pigs start living exactly like the humans they replaced. Sleeping in real beds, wearing clothes, drinking alcohol, walking around on 2 legs instead of 4. Little by little, they become the very thing the rebellion was supposed to destroy. Meanwhile, there's Boxer, the strongest horse on the farm, and honestly, the most loyal animal in the whole story. His answer to every problem is the same. I will work harder. He says it after every setback. Windmill collapses. He works harder. Food runs low. He works harder. He never once questions Napoleon, because to Boxer, questioning feels disloyal. And how does that loyalty get repaid? When Boxer's body finally gives out from years of overwork, the pigs don't take care of him. They sell him. Cash for a horse, the moment he stops being useful. The other animals are told he died peacefully in a hospital. That's a lie too. That's the gut punch of this book right there. The ending. Years go by. The 7 commandments on the barn wall slowly disappear, one by one, quietly changed or erased, until only one is left standing. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Read that twice because it says everything. In the very last scene, the pigs invite the human farmers over for dinner. The other animals peer through the farmhouse window and watch pigs and humans laughing together, arguing over a card game like old friends. The animals look from pig to man and from man to pig and back again. And they realize something devastating. They can't tell the difference anymore. The pigs are just as greedy, just as cruel, just as controlling as Mr. Jones ever was. Same oppression, different face, the lesson. So what's the actual takeaway here? Power corrupts. Simple as that. And it almost never happens all at once, with one dramatic moment where everything changes. It happens slowly. One small exception, one rewritten rule. One privilege that was only supposed to be temporary. One purge that teaches everyone else to keep their mouths shut. And it doesn't matter how fair, how equal, how well-intentioned things start out. If nobody stays alert, if nobody keeps power in check, the same mistakes creep back in, wearing a slightly different mask. There's a second lesson too, and it's about Boxer. Working hard and staying loyal is admirable, but loyalty without asking questions can get you used up and thrown away. Don't be Boxer. Stay hardworking, sure, but keep your eyes open too. And there's a third lesson, maybe the most important one. Watch the language, and watch what happens to the people who disagree. Squealer never announces, "We're taking more from you." He just quietly changes the words until it sounds fine. And once disagreement gets dangerous, silence stops meaning agreement. It just means fear. That's worth remembering next time somebody tells you a cutback is actually good news. That's Animal Farm. A simple story on the surface. A pretty serious warning underneath. If you enjoyed this one, let me know down in the comments which character you feel the worst for. Boxer? The animals who were silenced, the ones who never asked questions. And I'll catch you in the next video.